Greetings. How y'all doing? Today, I want to talk about forgiveness. I'm big into defining words. It's just something that I do. I don't like to use words and not know what they mean. I find myself pausing if I'm using a word where maybe I understand its context, but I don't know what it means. I just find myself doing that. And my mother, if I would ask what a word meant, she would make me go and grab the dictionary and look it up myself. So that's still something I do. So appreciate your mom. Anyway, we're going to talk about forgiveness and what forgiveness means, and at least what it means to me. I think it'll help somebody. So anyway, forgive is defined as to cease to feel resentment against an offender, to pardon. And in Hebrew, it's actually greatly linked to the word pardon, salah. But that's pretty much the gist of the definition: to grant relief from payment, like forgive a debt, to forgive an insult, to cease to feel resentment against an offender. Yeah, so the thing is, the definition, sometimes definitions don't always do it for me. I have to kind of personalize it to where I can apply it, like practically. So to just cease to feel resentment, I don't really connect with that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. And a lot of us don't connect with the term forgiveness or to forgive. A lot of us don't connect with that. In fact, a lot of us get a little on edge when we talk about forgiveness. We'll say, I'll forgive, but I ain't gonna forget. We have this preface of what we're not gonna do. We automatically kind of have walls up. We put up walls. We are less vulnerable when it comes to like forgiveness, which already exposes a whole lot. It exposes a whole lot when you tell me what you're not going to do. Like, you're starting off with what you're not going to do. We don't want to do that, because holding things and not dealing with things, especially over time, can be it can make you sick, pretty much. It can make your brain not function well. It can make your body not function well, because we're not built to carry unforgiveness. We're not built that way. We're not built to not give. We're not built that way. I guess because of the disappointment that we experience, we may experience a lot of disappointment. Maybe someone in a position of authority really disappointed you, and maybe a friend disappointed you, maybe a pastor disappointed you. And we have to realize that these are people, and some of these people are not aware of what they're doing, to you, or they're not aware of what they did to you. They're not aware of what they said to you. And there are some people that are carrying unforgiveness because of something that was said, that was done to them. And I'm not excusing anyone's behavior, but it's still important that whatever you're carrying, that you let it go. No individual is built to just, now we may be able to do it, but we're not built to just carry, and I'm saying physically carry baggage or luggage everywhere we go in life. If we physically just had bags in both of our hands and we physically just took them everywhere that we went, we would be able to take it. But it makes you tired, especially walking a long distance. So enough of that analogy that we're very familiar with. The word forgive, the way that I break it down and the way that I make it practical is breaking up the word for give. With the word for, though, I put before, as in to go before and give, or to give first. And this is how I make it practical. And I try to keep myself reminded that, if I'm not going to carry anything, I have to be willing to let go of or to give first. I'm not going to wait for somebody to straighten up their attitude. I'm not going to wait for somebody to treat me the way that I want them to treat me in order for me to forgive. Forgiving is a heavenly virtue that we all possess, but we may be unaware that we possess it, or we may not know how to use it. Many of us are, I guess, conditioned to just carry unforgiveness. If someone wrongs you, you will say, I'm not gonna, I'm never gonna forget what you did. I'm never gonna forgive you if you don't do this or that. It's like, listen, man, evil got you pinned up right now. You see what I'm saying? And that's really stomping grounds for evil to fester. You're actually leaving the door open for evil to come in and just do what evil wants to do in your life. And this could be why, in that particular area that you may not be willing to forgive, you're getting very little manifestation. You're getting very little productivity and forward movement in your life in that particular area. It's almost like a weed. You see what I'm saying? That is like, it's choking everything that you want to see work. It's choking it out. That's kind of, for those of you who like to do yard work and, gardening, it works like that. Unforgiveness will choke out anything that you are trying to get to work. It'll make it not work. In fact, in the Bible, it speaks about like when you pray, there are directions for how to pray. And then toward the end of those directions, it says, if you're holding unforgiveness, you won't be forgiven. You won't be forgiven. And what I think that means is, if you're holding something, if I have a ball in my hand and I don't want to give it up, I don't think that means that you won't be forgiven because of karma. I don't think that's what that is. It's like we all put ourselves in the center, and we think that people want to pin us up and do all these things against us, when oftentimes it's the position that we put ourselves in. So let's just say I'm holding a ball and I just don't want to let go of this ball. Well, it's impossible to give me anything if I'm holding this ball in my hand. But as soon as I'm willing to give it up, drop it, my posture is to receive at that point. Once I drop the ball, once I let it go, once I let go of the thing that I've been so afraid to let go of, I'm automatically in that posture for something to be given to me. And guess what? I had to do that first before I could receive something. So this is what I think that forgive means: to give first, or to let go of first. Not waiting for somebody to do something to me, or to say something to me, or to apologize to me. I have found that to not work. There have been times when people have realized that they were wrong and they came and apologized. And yes, it may have made it easier to say, okay, I forgive you. But I've learned over time, as soon as they do it, you know what? I forgive you. Even if I'm not in front of that person, I will tell myself, I will say to myself out loud, I do not hold resentment toward this person. I forgive them. I forgive, like whatever their name is. I will say it out loud. I feel as though saying it out loud is hugely important, because when we're waiting on like feeling something different, you can't just, your emotions don't have a switch. We may have fooled ourselves to thinking that we can switch on emotions and switch them off. You're fooling yourself. You playing yourself, like, for real. The only way that you can change the way that you feel is you have to either be looking at something, listening to something, because that's what caused you to feel that way in the first place. Um, yeah, if you're feeling something and you weren't hearing anything, maybe it was like a random feeling, but mind you, several things happen up until the point that you are now, and it may be a feeling that you have that it's just out of habit that you feel that way. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to a particular feeling, just a particular thing, maybe it's something that somebody said, maybe it's something that someone did that caused you to feel a certain way. Several events happen throughout the course of our day, every day, and whether we think so or not, our emotions are being tugged back and forth. It's actually quite beneficial to position yourself to where you can be in a place to where, you kind of have a consistent momentum, of, just a stable feeling, I guess, stabilizing your emotions. But the only way that you can really do that is by having the right entertainment, having your eyes on the right things, having your ears listening to the right things. And if you don't have that, you need to be saying the right things. And one of the things that I say, aside from listening to certain music, is I don't hold unforgiveness toward this person. I know what they did and I didn't like it, and I'm never going to like it, and I may not forgive it. But I may not forget it. Sorry about that. But I do forgive them. And in response to that, I start to get new thoughts and I start to get new feelings toward that person. I actually start to feel more like compassion toward that person, because you never know what people are going through. That person could have hurt you because, the saying, hurt people, that, that's true, and, sometimes people do it, they hurt just for that reason, and they're just trying to find somebody to project their hurt toward. They're trying to release it away from them, and excuse me, and it's just one of those things. Sometimes people are not trying to hurt you. Sometimes people are just doing their job. And we may allow ourselves to get offended, or maybe we're surprised by what someone said, or maybe someone is being, maybe they're critiquing, or maybe they're doing constructive criticism, and we don't think it applies to us. But, even in situations like that, sometimes we bite our tongue and we don't say anything. In some situations that is important, where, maybe you shouldn't say anything in certain situations, but always be mindful to not let unforgiveness enter your heart. Don't let unforgiveness set in and take root. If it does take root, deal with it, speak to it. Don't give it place. It is a mindset that it will cause unproductivity in your life. It will cause counterproductivity in your life. Unforgiveness takes you out of harmony, with what I believe God is trying to give you. I believe that God is trying to give something to everybody on this earth. Sometimes our hearing is clouded, our discernment is clouded by stuff that happened to us, things that people did to us, stuff that happened when we were children, and all we can think about is this person did that to me, therefore I can't do this and I can't do that. And we never even thought, or probably were never taught, to start the process of forgiving. I do think that forgiveness is a process. It's not always an instant thing, but the best way that you can start the process is by saying at least once a day or several times a day, I forgive. And you might sound like a broken record to yourself, but it is beneficial to say to yourself, I forgive. I do not hold resentment. It makes things messy. It makes things pile up. It makes emotions pile up. It develops and cultivates triggers that you didn't even know that you had. Somebody could have cut you off in traffic, or and you find yourself responding in a way that you didn't even know that you could respond. Or maybe somebody at the checkout counter at the grocery store, somebody does something or says something to you, and all of a sudden you're responding in a way because something was triggered. And because of that, that trigger may exist because of unforgiveness that set in. And this person did the slightest thing, the smallest thing, and the trigger just set you off. And it's important to forgive. I could speak forever about this subject, but forgive yourself first for carrying unforgiveness. Forgive yourself first for carrying unforgiveness. Don't delay it. Don't let it fester. Don't let it grow out of control. Forgive yourself for carrying unforgiveness. Do not carry unforgiveness. You are not built to carry unforgiveness. You are not built to carry unforgiveness. You are built to forgive and to give freely. That's what you were built to do. You were built to give freely because you have everything that you need on the inside of you to be who you need to be. So when you withhold, you're actually like stopping the flow, that should be flowing through you. It's like you're a clogged pipe now, So anyway, I was going to go to some other stuff, but forgive. It's worth it. It's not easy at first, but when you do it a few times, you become quick to do it. I don't care what it is. And sometimes people make it very hard, to be forgiven. But please forgive. It's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Okay? And forgiving yourself as well as forgiving others is probably one of the ultimate signs of wealth. People talk about money, but real wealth will move you to give first. And it will move you to give to yourself first. Therefore, you can give to your others out of the abundance of what you give yourself. All right? You so long-winded. My goodness. Let me get up out of here.